There are 195 officially recognized countries in the world. While there is some debate as to what officially constitutes a country, it is generally agreed upon that there are 195 countries, 54 of which are in Africa, 47 of which are in Asia, 43 in Europe, 23 in North America, 14 in Australia and Oceania, and 12 in South America. However, on one strange day in 1954, a man arrived at an airport and claimed to be from a country that no one recognized. I'm your host, Joseph Jordan, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's episode of the Scary, Strange, and Outright Odd Show. The year was 1954. It was hotter than normal in Tokyo, Japan, but at Haneda Airport, it was business as usual. That is, of course, until one unknown date when a routine European inbound plane dropped off its passengers. As the crowd made its way through the customs, a neatly dressed, middle-aged Caucasian man stepped up and told officials that it was just a normal business trip for him, one of 3 so far this year to Japan. His primary language was French, yet he spoke Japanese and several other languages. In his wallet were a variety of currencies from various European countries, as if to verify his frequent flyer tendencies. When asked the question of his country of origin, things began to become very strange. He casually stated that he was from a place known as Taured, on the border between France and Spain. The officials told him that Taured did not actually exist, but he presented them with his passport, issued by the non-existent country of Taured, which also showed visa stamps corroborating his previous business travels to Japan and other countries. Yet, when they called the company he said he was having a meeting with, they had never heard of him or his company before that moment. The hotel he had reserved a room at had no reservation for such a person, and the bank listed on his checkbook appeared to not exist. The mysterious and gloriously bearded man scoffed. Surely, this was some elaborate practical joke for his benefit. Customs officials showed him a world map and pointed to the tiny country of Andorra. Perhaps this was his real country of origin, and somehow he was either mistaken or having his own little joke. The man became irate, saying that Andorra didn't exist, but was right where Taured should be. His proud country had existed for thousands of years. Still in shock over his misplaced homeland, the mysterious man was detained by customs and given a room at a nearby hotel for the night, while officials tried to figure out what was going on. The following morning, the mystery deepened. Taured's one and only resident completely vanished from his hotel, which had been guarded by immigrant officials all night long. And, to make matters worse, all of his personal documents, including his passport and driver's license issued by the mystery country, vanished from the airport's security room. Police and airport officials searched in vain for the mysterious man. It was as if the whole encounter had never actually happened. No documentation verifying this source has yet surfaced, but it was mentioned in several books, including The Directory of Possibilities in 1981 on page 86, and Strange But True, Mysterious and Bizarre People, published 1999 on page 64. And given its puzzling ending, I doubt that any official would have written up a report concluding that the man and all his documents evidence simply vanished. I mean, I can certainly say that I would have a bit of a hard time explaining this all to my boss. Surprisingly, misplaced travelers such as the businessman from Taured have appeared on many occasions. In 1851, a man was found wandering Frankfurt an Oder in northeast Germany, who claimed he was from a country called Laxaria on the continent of Sakira. Another man who spoke a completely unrecognizable language was caught stealing a loaf of bread in Paris in 1905. He said he was from Lisbia, which authorities assumed was Lisbon, or Lisboa in Portuguese. Yet his language was not Portuguese, nor did he recognize a map of Portugal as his homeland. It's a bit crazy, and I kind of wondered what he was doing stealing a loaf of bread. My personal take is that I simply don't believe it. There just isn't enough evidence to prove that this man ever existed, let alone that this event even took place. But as I mentioned before, if I was an airport worker and this man just disappeared on me, I would be very reluctant to write down any official information on the event. While it certainly makes for a fascinating story, I just don't see enough information to back it up. However, there are many reports of time travelers throughout history, but that's for another time. So what is you, the listener, what's your take on Taured? Is it real or is it a hoax? Was the man mentally ill? Or maybe, just maybe, he is real. And somehow, someway, Taured does exist. I'd like to give a special thanks to the sources used for this story. It's an article called Man Without a Country. Who was the mysterious man from Taured? It was by Ken Summers. And as always, thank you for listening to the Scary, Strange, and Outright Odd Show. I'm your host, Joseph Jordan, reminding you that the truth is always out there.